All right, we can get started. Like I said, thank you everyone for joining us on this Wednesday morning. Depending on where you're at, it's pretty cold here in Boise, but welcoming fall. And today's agenda, sorry, admitting people. Today's agenda, I'll run through pretty quickly. We are going to announce our meal of the month, first one actually, and then do a quick professional standards reminder since we are at the beginning of the year. Again, another verification reminder and some quick program reminders, a little bit quicker than our professional standards, and then end our webinar with the equipment grant, which will close here soon, and then a shout out to the NutriCloud survey that went out to those using that equipment. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll move right along and hopefully have some time at the end of the webinar for questions if anyone would like to raise those. So first off, we'd like to thank Napa School District for submitting a couple pictures of their meal patterns, and congratulations, I guess we selected yours. For anybody who would like to submit a picture and participate in this, it's of course voluntary and not required. Just submitting a picture of the lunch or breakfast meal tray and showing off all the hard work you guys are doing to provide these nutritious and awesome meals to students. So just a reminder to send that picture to Sharon here, our admin at the state agency, and her email address is there. But again, if you do need it, just reach out and any of us can help you send a picture in. Moving on to professional standards, since we are kind of closing October and usually school districts will do an annual training at the beginning of the year, we want to take this moment just to remind you to log all of the training that has been completed for yourself and all of your staff members. However you're choosing to log those trainings, making sure that is complete and up to date. Record keeping any sort of agendas, sign-in sheets, and or certificates of completion for in-person and online training, making sure you have all of that record to show all of the great training being completed. And then following that up with just a snapshot of those required hours to position, and this again can be found on that professional standards flyer. We also have the professional standards webpage on the SDE website with a ton of resources, which includes this full flyer, but just included this snapshot. Again, if any questions with professional standards, please reach out to the NSLP team. It's capitalize it on early in the year, get your trainings done. So any extras that you do throughout the year are just extra. Next, I'm going to hand it over to Melissa Cook. She's going to run through some verification reminders.
Morning, everyone. Verification, it's starting to wrap up. Hopefully you've got everything going and you've got getting good results, hearing back from people. A quick reminder that if you hear back from anybody and they say they're not going to turn anything in, that's still a response. So you count that as a response. You still change them to paid, but it's still a response. So this on here is the kind of the timeline where we are at now. October 31st, you're going to gather all the student counts, and they're listed below here. Total enrolled, total directly certified, broken up into different categories. Number approved on applications as of the 31st. So that might be different than what you think based on the 1st of October when you counted the applications themselves. This is those that are, if they've moved to direct cert, they're now not counted under an app, but if you've gotten a new application in the month of October, you're going to count them on. So it's going to be a little wonky, but that's how you actually count. And then CEP numbers, you'll need that as well. That would be the student counts. The report will open on Monday, October 31st, because we can't take any student counts before then. And then it must be completed. All verification activities must be completed on November 15th. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me. Reach out. Thanks.
Thank you, Melissa. Again, yeah, if you do have any questions with verification, Melissa Cook is going to be your go-to there, or the NSLP team. We're happy to help or direct if need be. Diving into some quick program reminders, you're more than welcome to submit any questions into the chat box or unmute if you would like at any time. Like I said, hopefully at the end we have some time. We should.
Okay, so I'll go over the next couple reminders, and then after that, I'll pass it off to Kat. So first of all, we just want to remind everyone to update their non-discrimination statement on both their website, letter templates, anything that you guys can think of. Just make sure that that updated NDS is available to us. And then also HACCP plan, so the hazard analysis and critical control point plan. Make sure that you guys have an up-to-date HACCP plan. It is required in the NSLP operations. So you want to make sure that you're writing, implementing, and revising as needed. And it's essential to have these food safety standards of standard operating procedures in place, and to make sure that you're training your food service employees on them. ICN has a lot of great resources for you guys if you need anything. But with regards to HACCP, make sure that your guys' kitchen staff knows what it is, where it is, and why they might have to implement it. So just make sure that's all good to go.
Thanks, Jax. Okay, I'll take over now. As a lot of you know, I've started the procurement reviews, and still some of the issues I'm finding are the Buy American language is not in the procurement policies. So you just need to remember that the Buy American language has to be in your procurement procedures, in your food product specifications, any contracts that you have going out. Even if you belong to a co-op, you're still responsible for checking the produce when it comes into your kitchens or wherever you receive your deliveries. The Buy American language is in the co-op bids. I've looked at those. So you just need to make sure you also have it in your procurement policies relating to your school, because remember, all procurement policies have to relate to your school district only. If you're part of the co-op, that's great, but just remember, you're still responsible for checking the Buy American when it comes in. You want to be able to monitor your compliance. And so here's my little guy with his magnifying glass. Remember to inspect what is expected. So you want to review the product labels when you get them. You want to review delivery invoices. When I'm going through procurement, if I've asked for invoices, I am able to see a lot of times what's being delivered. So maybe you're getting tropical fruit in a can, or you're getting bananas in a can, not bananas, pineapples in a can. Those are things that most likely are not Buy American. And so you need to be really diligent and check those cans. So it's not just for fresh produce, it's also for your canned items. You want to check that the solicitations and contracts contain the Buy American language, just like I talked about, and then monitor the performance of your contractor. So you might reach out ahead of time, and make sure that the produce you're getting is coming in from the United States. Sometimes it's hard to get. Maybe you're going to get tomatoes from Mexico or grapes from Chile at one time. Just make sure you have an exception form ready and that the contractor can give you backup. If not, as we trained before, you would go to the AMS website to find that out. And then remember to retain your documentation for the exceptions and keep that on file. When we come in for an AR, we may ask for those forms. You, the SFA, are responsible for filling out the exception form, not the vendor, not the state agency. We don't do that, and neither does the vendor. That's something that the SFA has to fill out. And if you have communication with the vendor, if he calls to say, hey, it's not going to be possible to get you Buy American produce at this time, then you're ready to go. You'll have your exception form ready. Include the emails and telephone calls, document those, and you can attach those to the exception form as well. There is not a blanket USDA exception form. If a vendor tells you, oh yeah, USDA gave us a form, they did not. You need to make sure you have the exception form to fill it out. The only USDA assured products are if you get your USDA number 10 cans or you use the DoD Fresh program. Those are guaranteed Buy American. Can we move on to the next slide? Thank you. So completing the worksheet review. If you attended the annual training, Jamie had a really great activity that we all did. It showed you to use the American Marketing Service website. That way you'll be able to see where the produce is coming from, what country of origin, maybe in the United States where it's located at that time. So this is a very valid and good website to use, and you can use that as your backup to your exception form. So if you remember when we did these forms, you're going to identify the non-domestic food item. Now we all know for sure that bananas are not Buy American. So all you would need to do is fill out your exception form and mark annual. You don't have to do this every time you receive bananas into your warehouse. You just need to fill out the exception form one time, most likely for pineapple as well. That's usually not something that's grown. I mean, it's grown in Hawaii, but it may not be readily available from the US each time. So perhaps a seasonal item, if you know that some of the things aren't going to be coming in, you can check off a seasonal. If tomatoes are only going to be good here for a few months and then they're going to get them from Mexico for a couple months, you could mark those as a seasonal item. You want to include the dates of the exception form. So if you're filling it out for bananas, just mark ongoing or annual, that would suffice on that part of it. Include the country of origin. Check your invoices, look at your invoices. It should tell you where that produce is coming from. And then the country of origin, select the applicable exception option. Is it because there's not enough quantity sufficiently grown right now, or are the prices really high and you can get your vendor can get them a little cheaper? This is an exception form is not something that should be just used willy-nilly. You should really be trying to get produce, look at the AMS. If a produce item is not in season and you can see that, maybe substitute something else for that time and then go back and get the other items when you know they're in season. Provide the supporting documentation, identify the alternatives considered. So again, looking to see maybe what you can substitute. And then you need to sign off on that information. And again, you need to file that away in case we come out. So the team is checking. They are going into the kitchens. They are going to look in your storage room. I myself have been in a couple of freezers checking produce. So it's really important to make sure you have your exception forms on file in case we look at something and it tells us it's coming from another country. We're going to question that. This is the website for AM Marketing News. This is a really good website. It helps you evaluate the market conditions. You can identify the trends. You can make your purchasing decisions. You can monitor price patterns. It'll tell you where the terminal is that the produce is coming into around the United States. So this is a really good website you can use. You can go in there and you can choose your fruit. You can choose your vegetables. We do have a guide on My Idaho CNP. Lynda and I went out and we created a little step-by-step guide on how to get through the market news. So if you need help finding that, just send me an email and let me know, and I will walk you through that. And then the last slide. So I did make a Buy American Powtoon and I put it out on the CNP YouTube channel along with one for procurement and for capital expenditure requests. I will say this Buy American one is a little longer. It's about maybe 15 minutes, but I tried to pack as much information in there as I could so that you would have a lot of answers to the Buy American provision. Again, it's on the CNP YouTube channel. You can go to our website and you can click on Child Nutrition and then click on resources, and then you'll see our YouTube channel. There is a lot of good videos out there for all aspects of the child nutrition program. So if you haven't been out there to see it, you really should go. It helps you know how to fill out your NIP FRID and tells you about the meal patterns. And it's a really good website. There's even some out there for USDA foods that I know TJ and I worked on. So if you have any questions about anything Buy American or any procurement issues, and you will be hearing from me soon, so just let me know.
Awesome. Thank you, Kat. And to roll off of that, I will put another plug-in for our YouTube channel. That is where you will find all of the recordings for these webinars. We transcribe them and post them usually within the week. So if you missed the beginning of the webinar or need to leave early, we also do send out an email just letting you know when that's posted, so you don't need to check back aimlessly. Just look for that email, that one of their many emails probably in your inbox. And like Kat said, not just our webinar recordings, there's topic specific videos, short, long, that are growing as the months go by. So go in there and look at all of our resources. Real quick, if you are using NutriCloud for the online application, the free and reduced application, I myself, Jamie, sent out a survey, kind of a user experience survey a couple weeks ago. Just asking for some feedback and if you need any assistance or how the year's gone with collecting apps. I know it's probably settled down these last couple or month or so, but let me know if you do have any questions or if you did not receive that link. And I do appreciate all of the people that have filled it out already. It is really helpful and kind of helps us plan for the future. So please let me know if, again, any questions or if you did not receive that and you are using NutriCloud. And lastly was our equipment grant. This is just a reminder that the application is due October 28th. To find the grant application, you can look in your archive of emails or go to the SDE website on the events, awards, and grants page. You can find the link to the application. Please read through the application to ensure complete submission of the packet. A checklist is provided on that link to the application. So if you do need any help, Sean Charters is here and able to assist with any questions, or the NSLP team will help if we can. So I think we raced through everything that we had. If there are any other questions, I saw that some were entered in the chat box and were being answered. Let's read them. This question is, what does a SOP look like for Buy American? Do you have a template to compare what is in place to what you describe or provide information for?
I'll take that one, Jamie. I'm really not sure what your question is. So if you would like to send me an email, I'd be happy to give you a call and we can talk about that. I'm not sure what you mean about a standard operating procedure or a template. We do have an exception form that you can find on my Idaho CNP and download forms for the exception form. Otherwise, I'm not quite sure what your question is. So send me a quick email and then maybe we can talk about it.
Awesome. Yeah. And the next question under that, sneeze guards, tray line accessories, and are they not allowed or allowed in the bid? I'm not quite sure what that one is as well, if that's a purchasing question. Oh,
I can take, this is Sean, I can take a stab at that one.
thanks, Sean.
Sneeze guards and accessories are allowed as long as it's a portion of the complete product. If you're buying a complete salad bar, then you can go ahead and add the sneeze guard and accessories, but by themselves, they are not allowable. And then also a reminder, it has to be a total of $1,000.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. Our next one, can we get these slides? I'm sorry, we did move through it pretty quickly. I have a tendency of talking really fast and moving through it. So we don't actually send out the slides, but I appreciate you commenting that. As of right now, we only release the YouTube video, but knowing these types of things, we'll consider possibly sending out the presentation as well. Should we have an SOP in place at our school? That is from April. April, if you're asking about HACCP SOPs, standard operating procedures, yes, or I'm sorry, can you elaborate, or does someone know more on that? And where do we get the exception form? That is found in download forms. Lisa, I know Jennifer just.
I can elaborate on that one too,
Okay.
Jamie. If
Thanks,
you're
Kat.
going to My Idaho CNP and you go to download forms, you're going to look for section number 18. It says NSLP procurement. And then you're going to scroll down and right about in the middle, you'll find the Buy American exception form, and you'll just click on that and you can download that.
Thank you, Kat.
I thank you, Kat, for explaining where the form to be completed is located. I went ahead and just provided a memo link, wondering if maybe April was asking about SOPs for Buy American, but there is just some guidance in that memo to help explain that requirement. It is a federal regulation.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you, Jen. Sean, I think this one's for you. If it exceeds $1,000, is it okay on the accessories grant?
Yes, it is okay. However, the accessories and the sneeze guard by themselves are not a single piece of equipment. So if you were purchasing a salad bar that is above $1,000, you can include the sneeze guard and accessories as part of the total package. But if you have an existing salad bar and you're only purchasing the accessories, then that would not be eligible.
Thanks, Sean.
Mhm.
And your other question, April, still thinking of Buy American SOP. I would like to create one in order to be successful and for future managers to understand. It's a great thought. I'm not sure if we have an example SOP for Buy American.
Not that I'm aware of, but if Jen has that memo, I'll be happy to send that out as well. That would explain a few things. There's not really a standard operating procedure. It's just information and a regulation. It's from 7 CFR that the language needs to be in your procurement policies and in any contracts that you send out. So again, if you want to give me a call, I can help walk you through it, or I'll send you the memo. I have a couple of memos actually on Buy American, if that would be helpful.
Thank you, Kat. We will give it a couple more minutes. If you'd like to insert a question or unmute, you're more than welcome to, but thank you everyone for joining us. We'll give you back quite a bit of your morning. And again, if you need anything, please reach out.
Hi, this is Christy from Boise. Can I make a comment about sneeze guards?
Please do.
Okay, we've been building some new schools and we do purchase them as separate pieces of equipment and they are thousands of dollars. Last one I just bought for one of our small schools was over $4,000. So it's an independent piece of equipment that hangs from a ceiling over a serving line in an elementary school. So just a little FYI there.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Christy. I will admit I did not know that.
So would that qualify for the grant? Because I'm interested in putting these in some of our old schools where we have these old hanging pieces of plexiglass from chains, you know? These are fixed pieces of equipment that are attached to a wall and they're not movable. They're panes of glass that are suspended or can be attached to the serving line.
Yes, based upon that description, that would be an eligible use.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Christy. And Sean.
And here, I'll answer that question too. As far as Boise goes, it is not part of the building. They actually can be disassembled and moved to a new location. They're, I say permanent in that they are placed and not easily removed. How about that?
Sean, do you have anything to add to that? Yeah.
No, thank you. I would agree. As long as they can be removable, they would be considered equipment and not part of the building.
While everyone is thinking of their questions, I just want to send spit out a reminder to everyone that my Idaho CNP will go down tomorrow at 3 p.m. Boise time, and it'll be down on Friday. If you have a claim to get it in today, tomorrow before 3. Otherwise, it'll have to wait till next week. Thanks.
Thank you, Melissa.
In the question that was just asked, if we want to add a hot hold cabinet, but keep the one it's replacing is also used, is it considered new or replacement? And it would be considered new.
Katie's typing really fast. Melissa, I'm sure you saw it, but is there a template for the 2-week reminder letter, or would we send just the same as the initial and say, hey, this is a reminder?
Yeah, I was going to type it in, but I'll just say, no, there isn't a template. You just create your own. Just give them the that they have to have it back by a certain time. And if they don't, they'll be changed to paid. And then of course, when that time comes, you change them to paid. So you tell them the date, and you do have to give them 10 calendar days. Doesn't have to be 10 calendar days after it's due. However, you just say on this date. It's just when you send it out, it has to be 10 calendar days.
Okay, that was my next question. Is there a specific verbiage? Thank you.
Yeah, I thought I should throw that in.
Going back to the question from April, if one vendor estimates time of arrival and the other does not know for sure due to COVID problems in the chain, can we estimate time of arrival? And yes, you can.
If anyone's panic typing questions in, I'll give you a couple minutes. Don't want to leave anyone hanging. Alrighty, well, oh, does the bid from the vendor need to be submitted? John?
Yes, 3 bids need to be submitted with your application. If you're having them bid several items, just highlight or circle the item that you're requesting the grant funds for, if there's many bids on the actual quote.
All right, well, thanks again, you guys. Please let us know if you have any questions. We'll be here. Have a great rest of your week.